the relationship between a team member and his or her people leader.
So again, I think we are hearing the same thing around saying there's a lot of business support, business belief that is required to really hit this right. Question to Varsha. So I think you just said that yes, there is some initial thoughts going about changing, keeping the way we are doing, but there is some amount of change, and I think those are some initial steps towards that. But here is a wild thought, and maybe Pothen will agree. When I had a conversation a couple of days back, saying if performance management becomes an everyday affair, then rewards management need not be an annual affair. Right? And a lot of people in this room, with some of the business dynamics happening, and if all of us read newspapers, and if some people in this room have given away annual increases already, and those who have not given would hear from business leaders that just keep it where it is. We are not no rush to give the annual increase. Is there now a point in time, and a case building up, saying just like we did away with performance ratings, rankings, or we did away with the annual cycle of performance and made it more continuous, maybe not half yearly, maybe quarterly thing, but the monthly is just too often. Is there a possibility that the annual construct is slowly going to fade away, and more of personalization, which is happening in business scenarios? People are becoming more consumers, and employees will become consumers, and they'll say, link my rewards to career milestones, not necessarily a particular effective time in the year, because that may or may not be the right time for that person. So everybody has a right time, a right place, a right context. Is that possible, or just a thought? But
yeah, that's a very interesting question. Saying, will we see our salaries move up and down like the Sensex?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, even performance, I'm sure there are crests and troughs, and it's
Yes.
not that I perform the same every day, every month, every quarter.
Sure. Okay, so that's a fairly radical thought, right? But you can see that some companies have already taken steps to align compensation or align rewards with what a person gets to the table. So for example, having competency or skill-based allowances, that's one way of taking care of the market, saying that I will give you an allowance because it's a hot skill now, but tomorrow if that skill does not remain to be a hot skill, I'll take that allowance away.
But that tomorrow is again once a year. It's not that frequent. It's not like instant.
Yeah, if we were to do it every day, we would have to have a market dynamism like we have Uber. So you have a demand and a supply curve, and then we would have surge pricing.
I'm saying we are hearing Uberification in everything. Why not Uberification in rewards?
Yeah. So, but I think we are still a way away from it. Once again, quoting the study, I'll go back to data. 19 out of 20 companies in India, and this is roughly, I'm just giving percentages, have said that they will continue to use ratings to make adjustments to base salary. Okay, so that means 95% of your companies are basically saying that they will not move away from ratings to make base salary adjustments. And we will continue to have this administrative, at least for the foreseeable future, we will continue to have this 1 year, maybe annual, maybe 2 years, twice in a year, because we already have salary corrections, right, in October or mid-year. So for the foreseeable future, I don't see any changes in terms of creating a Uber for salaries. Maybe it'll come up at some point of time, but not now.
Okay, if I could just add to that, maybe just I'll take a minute. So we are actually experimenting with this in Mexico and with 2 businesses in India, which is the concept of total rewards and essentially moving to a people budget concept, which kind of pulls in everything. So your benefits, your training budgets, your above and beyond your reward budget, your merit increases, everything. And in that philosophy, so it's a pilot which is underway. The people leader or the leader of the group has the prerogative to give multiple rewards in course of the year as long as he or she is within the budget. So it could be 5 performance increases in course, or 5 increases in course of that year. So it's still under pilot. We don't know what will come of it, but I thought I'll just add.
Yeah, I think the whole idea was to, put some thoughts and, bake it, not yet serve it. So we'll wait for when it gets served, right? Spotan, I mean, similar question to you. It's more like now we're talking about individuals' performances and individual rewards linked to organizations' performance and organization rewards. And typically, the quarterly system, when it comes to an organization's performance, is very well set. Yeah, obviously, there's one thing about market cap and where whether Sensex or Nifty in the Indian context is there in the US context it would be NASDAQ, right? What, in your opinion, could be done similar if you were to draw that analogy, saying, map the thing which is organization's performance, organization rewards at an organization level, the same thing to an individual performance, individual rewards?
So I just like to start with what Varsha said. 19 out of 20 companies are still looking at performance management with performance rating and ranking. I have a concern and a challenge with that for considering for rewards. The concern and the challenge is we have been slaves to the performance management system, and we are not willing to break that. And we are not being courageous enough as HR leaders to go and tell the business to break it. Because that's the only system that is currently working, which is measuring anything in companies which is related to talent. And it's time to break. And if you don't break it, and the provocation that I gave for Sujitesh was even more than what he has said. The fact that we had a performance management system, every single talent management process has been a slave to it. Every single talent management process, be it promotion, be it rewards, be it succession planning, whatever we take, it's been a slave to performance management system. It's time to break that. It's time to look at other measurements that we need to actually start promoting with respect to talent. And when do we do it? And who will do it? The business won't do it. We have to do it. It's time to bring that paradigm shift in talent management. And unless you break this particular process, which has been so ingrained in organization, it will never happen. So that's the first thought I want to leave. The second one, in terms of there is no correlation has been made between individual performance and organizational performance. Organizational performance, take market cap, has been way different from, it's way volatile from individual performance. You haven't been able to correlate executive performance to market cap. Why are we talking about individual performance at the employee level? It's a myth, complete myth. Third thing, if you're going to still go with respect to performance management system, you're still driving short-term performance. Who is looking at the long-term sustainability of the organization? Who is looking at long-term sustainability long-term sustainable performance of the organization? It's time to break all these things. And we have to break, because it's a talent area, it's a talent topic. We have to break it.
Okay. But do you see merit in the thought of the market cap kind of thing and an individual cap?
It's way too difficult to correlate both. You're trying to correlate something which is too difficult to correlate.
Just a thought. It's already 8 o'clock, happy hours. And that's where it's a thought, and that's why I bring the consultant in, Anirban. So do you see, what would be your advice to all those people who are not the ones who are sitting to your left and right? The people in the middle like you. Should they tread the path, do away with ratings, rankings, follow the matrix model of merit matrix? Do you think that it's more today an euphoria and it's a little bit of a marketing gimmick which is going on? Because if they're always in the consultants' language, it's G and Adobe and maybe a few other organizations who are not maybe represented here. They're all outliers. And we got to manage the people in the middle. So if you are not moving to it, stay put there. Couple of years time, this is the only way we'll be.
Let me break this up. Okay, so let me break this up into two pieces, right? One is, should you make the transition? The other is the matrix, right? Should you make the transition? The answer is a consultant's favorite answer. It depends, right? It depends on who you are. I don't think GE and Adobe are outliers. I see solid business reason why they're doing it. If you are in environments where the fundamentals of your business is changing dramatically, where you fundamentally need to build for not today but for tomorrow, it makes sense to make this transition. If you're an organization that hinges on creating intellectual property, it makes absolute sense to do it. But we are not all that type of organization, right? And therefore it becomes very critical to figure out who you are and does it make sense in that environment, right? So that's the first part. The second part, I think, is something we've created. The merit matrix makes calculations for us simpler. It reduces HR overheads. A lot of us derive power from it. And I fundamentally don't understand why it exists. Yeah? And I keep telling my team and a lot of my clients this to say, the business brings money on the table. They're the guys who are bringing in revenue, who are bringing in the bottom line. They should be equally empowered to spend the money on the people they want to. Yeah? Should there be some governance around parity, et cetera, I honestly don't know, right? Because it's their money. And it's their money, it's their people, attrition hurts them. Every aspect of talent has business implications, right? So if you said, should we go with the merit matrix? I'm a huge fan, right? But that also implies that we all are willing to give away a purpose, a certain portion of a reason for existence. And I'm not sure whether we are there yet.
Okay. That's a very honest and bold answer. So I think what we are hearing, I think 2-3 things which clearly come out is that the landscape is changing. If you have a strong business reason, culturally if you're aligned, you can transition from into the type A organization. But the transitions are not going to be painless. They will come with pain. It will be a different kind of a pain. One has to go through it. It is not like it's a formula-driven thing and saying, I just copy or paste it or just replace, Control F and Control H. One other thing which is emerging is that if feedback goes very granular or very specific, so will rewards follow it because it can't be, it's like a chicken and egg, so one has to follow the other. Whole idea about this is around motivation, so whether you do just intrinsic or extrinsic rewards, and what is going to be the success or failure is about people taking it very transparently. So I think those are clear takeaways, and I think it's again time now for me to open up the floor to questions, and we can take as many questions as we can. We're just at 5 minutes past 8, so open to questions and thoughts, comments.
Jalil, I had a question for you from Adobe. My name is Shiva from IIM Bangalore. 5 years back when you started this process in Adobe,